Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here, and today, August 15th, 2023, is the 20th anniversary of Freddy vs. Jason. So, this was included in the Friday the 13th Blu ray set that I did a review on, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, something like that. I'll link it here in the video so you can check that out if you haven't seen it. But I've been kind of looking for an excuse to revisit this film. I saw this in college, and it brings back a lot of great memories and kind of a funny moment. So, my wife and I were dating at the time, and this was playing on our campus theater at East Carolina University. And so, I decided I wanted to go see it. I talked her into seeing it, even though she hates horror movies. I told her, it's just going to be ridiculous and over the top and funny and just a good bit of entertainment. She was so mad at me after watching this movie, and I don't know that she's really seen a legit horror movie since that film. So anyway, I wanted to get back to it. I really did think, upon seeing it initially, that even though, of course, it's by no means a good movie, and what does that really mean, I guess, subjectively, but then it was entertaining, right? I mean, it had a lot of faults, but I thought that it was a pretty clever mashup of these two horror icons. I maybe saw it once or twice after it was released on DVD way back when, so I guess that would have been 2003, 2004, not long after it was in theaters. But this is the first time I've watched it in, I guess, a couple of decades, honestly, something like that. So having just revisited it, I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of the worth of it. Has it stood the test of time? Honestly, I think that it has. I still think it's a very entertaining film. I think Robert Englund does a great job still as Freddy in this movie. I think Jason is represented well. When I think about a mashup of this type and the best way to handle it, I can't really think of a premise that would work a whole lot better than what we get with this. It's ridiculous. It's super gory, right? I mean, super over the top. There's a lot of the comedy that sort of characterizes A Nightmare on Elm Street and all of those movies present here, but also sort of the, I don't know, jump scares, the teenage carnage that you see in Friday the 13th, that's here also. Again, not perfect. There are some things here upon rewatching it that feel a little bit dated. Just some of the lingo, some of the things the teenagers are saying, all of that kind of stuff. But generally, I think it holds up pretty well. And I gotta say, on Blu-ray, it actually looks really good. I popped it into my 4K Blu-ray player, so I don't know if it was upscaling it. It may have been. But it looked really nice on my QLED Samsung TV. Really crisp picture. I think I just forgot how over the top bloody it actually is. And I think, too, the thing that kind of stood out to me is I think that the way they approach this and set things up at the beginning of the film works really well. It's a pretty clever premise. So, again, not great. And you have to be a fan of both of these franchises to appreciate this. I think, for somebody who doesn't like horror movies or doesn't really care about A Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th, they would hate this, right? Because it's just really gory. There's a lot of nudity, all of that kind of stuff that are, pieces of the teenage slasher genre are, of course, here because it's trying to honor that tradition, so to speak. So, in terms of things that I think could have been done better with this, I think the fact that you've got these two horror icons here and that you've got the opportunity for Freddy to really thoroughly explore Jason's psyche, some of that is here, but I think that maybe could have gone a little bit deeper than what we get. But at the same time, I think about some of the standout moments in this movie. I think about the cornfield rave and just sort of the the stuff that ensues when Jason shows up there and just totally, I mean, he's even on fire at one point and gets put out by a beer keg that he accidentally slices when cutting up teenagers and all of that. It's just completely over the top, ridiculous fun. I'm glad that I've got it on Blu-ray. I think this was a great opportunity to go back and see it. And it's kind of funny, thinking about this, there really hasn't been a whole lot in terms of Friday the 13th or really even A Nightmare on Elm Street since this movie came out. I mean, I think we got, one Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I think that might have been 2010, something like that. I'll have to check the date on that. That did not have Robert Englund in it. I think we maybe had one Friday the 13th movie in 2009, but I don't know that we've really had much since then. So I think it's past due, right? I think it's time for these franchises to come back in some capacity. If Robert Englund was not part of Friday the 13th, if it did come back, I don't know what that would actually look like in practice, but anyway, if you haven't seen this in a long time, or if you've never seen it and you're a fan of these franchises, it's totally worth checking out. It's worth your time. It's a good bit of entertainment. It's a lot of fun. I had a great time revisiting it. But anyway, if you've seen this, let me know what you think about it in the comments. 2 decades later, to the day, do you think it holds up? Let me know what you think. And as always, thanks so much for watching.